you know, I understand the American ways. You know, I grew up in America, so I had to learn those kind of ways. You know, it's one of those things where my family was in America to make a better life for their kids, and I can respect that. You know, and that's why I look at my parents. They're so brave to step into a different country where nobody knew them, where there's full of hate and discrimination, but yet at the same time they were brave enough to try to make a better life for their kids, you know? And that's something I respect. And, you know, like I said, it wasn't all hate, though, because when I first came to Korea, I still started understanding, and I was still learning. So even though my initial reaction was, oh, why? It actually made me understand. 저를 이제 가르쳐준 거죠. 이제, 우리나라는, you know, Korea has so much to offer, so much to teach. And that's when I started understanding and learning. And then I started really becoming more proud of being Korean. And it was these good qualities and these things that I didn't understand about growing up. Learning about my father's history, his father's history. It was just so mind-boggling, so, you know, so interesting that it started shaping who I am. And you know, and I would never, you know, never do it differently. If I didn't come out to Korea, I don't think I would have been a whole person. I think that something would have been missing from me for my whole life. And I look at a lot of these Korean Americans out there, 재미 교포들 or whatnot, 교포s in general. I think that you know, they're really missing out by not learning our culture, by not learning our history, you know, about our peoples. You know, it's something that really, really will refresh you, will make you understand better about certain things in life, about certain people, and it'll really excel you into a different level. You know, make you just make you a better person in general, and that's what it did for me. You know? Right. And now...
So then you ended up going back to L.A., right?
Well, no, I went back to New York.
What happened? Okay.
I went back to New York, but because of what I experienced in Korea, I started seeing how it was in New York, basically. It was, you know, I saw my friends. I love my friends to death, don't get me wrong, but they were doing the same things. They were doing bad things. They were going to jail. Right. They were getting hurt. They were doing... You know, and I saw myself. I said, I don't want to be like that. Right. Why... You know, as much loyalty and friendship I have for my friends, you know, I need to do something to make my life better. Right. And, you know, of course I would tell my friends, we call them homies, homeboys, you know. Right.
Slang, more slang, but yeah.
And, of course they gave me their blessing because they knew that I was always someone who was very energetic, very looking for something better in life.
And you've got aspirations, right? So, 욕심이 있어요. Yeah, you've got things you want to do.
Ambition. And then I decided, you know what, if I want to change my life, I need to take a big, drastic change. Right. And that's when I decided to move out to LA. Right. So I didn't know anybody in LA. I had like one friend out there who, you know, who was a good friend from New York, but he was kind of established already in LA. And he said, come out. You know, whatever you need help with, let's do it together. And he gave me this this extra help I needed, extra feedback. But it was no fun and games. You know, I had to work from the morning till late night.
What work were you doing?
I was doing everything, like working at like electronic stores. I was doing this. Eventually, I ended up working in a cafe in the daytime, and I was DJing at nighttime. So I was working from like 9 in the morning to close to 2, 3 in the morning every day. Wow. So it was mentally frustrating. Yeah. But the physical part wasn't that hard because it was something that I wanted to do. You know, I wanted to change my life around. You know, I wanted to get back on my feet and the
DJing part is something you love doing.
Absolutely.
Anyway, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah.
And you know, there was a lot of hatred, a lot of anger, a lot of things trapped inside my body. And through music, that's how I started channeling that stress and frustration. And eventually, you know, I got to meet some good peoples. You know, LA was a great experience. It was very different from New York. You know, it's very, I guess, very sunny. And I eventually came back to Korea. Yeah. So, you know, the reason we came this time was to change the music scene, basically.
Right.
It wasn't even...
And this is where Drunken Tiger gets started, right?
This is, I mean, we were already doing some underground stuff before in LA, right?
Right.
And we come out here, and
this is one of your good friends, another Korean-American friend.
Right. This is the member of Drunken Tiger now.
Okay.
His name is Tiger JK.
Tiger JK.
You guys all know him as, Drunken Tiger.
You known Tiger JK from back in the LA days.
Right. So...
You two come over, and Drunken Tiger gets started.
Yeah, pretty much. We were doing Drunken Tiger before, but now that we were doing it on a different level, we didn't actually want to come to Korea to make an album out here. We were here to do some shows. We were going to go internationally, and that was like the main reason we started. But then one show happened and another show happened, and it just kind of caught on, and so I ended up doing an album kind of almost by mistake. But it was such a strong-willed and strong themed album. You know what I mean? It was just it was all this passion, anger, heat, experience, everything in this album.
The first album,
right?
You're pretty proud of that first album, huh?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's something that is I'm very proud of, accomplishing,
Yeah.
But when we did this, it wasn't we had in our minds like, oh, we're gonna be the best hip hop group, we're gonna hit #1, we're gonna be like this, we're gonna be like. It wasn't like that.
But you did.
Yeah, yeah, we did, and that's when I started realizing this is my destiny. This was my calling. This is what I was meant to do. I can understand now why I went through all these life experiences to get to this new level. And it was an amazing ride. It was, I met so many great people along the way.
Yeah.
I met, I've experienced so many things that I could have never.
How long were you working in Drunken Tiger then?
Well, I remember from the first album to the fifth album, which was from 1998 to year 2004, 2005.
98 to 2004, 2005. Yeah. Okay.
And eventually, good times, bad times.
Yeah.
You go through these experiences, you win numerous awards, you hit #1 in a country, in your country. It's just.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just a great experience. And. There's no way we could have done it by ourselves, There was so much help along the way. Even though when we first came out, it was like, oh, who are these guys? Why they don't deserve to be on TV, or what kind of music? It sounds like noise. This is not music.
The critics are always out there, right?
Yeah.
The critics are always.
And I